The challenge that I have since I've been a kid watching men is that men build with one hand and they tear down with the other hand. That's my only challenge to you. I don't care what you do, you grow. But what I don't like to see you do is put all this energy and effort into one thing and you build that thing up, but then you don't work on your blind spots and you tear down what you build up. I ain't tripping on no enemies or no haters. Can't nobody stop what God has for me, but I can stop what God has for me. All right, so this is why you need a coach. This is why you need people in your life, right? Because they're going to, no matter how dope you are, you have blind spots. Over 1 million people die yearly in accidents because of blind spots. And I'm going to say that one more time. I don't care how dope you are or how dope you think you are. The best vehicle, the Mercedes-Benz, the Escalade, the Ford Fusion, no matter what vehicle it is, it has a blind spot. So the reason why we teach the way we teach is because they're going to teach you to build up, but they're not going to say nothing to you about your blind spots. And then your blind spots is going to tear down everything you've ever built. And so most of you, like, really, it don't matter how dope you are. You got addictions that you're not dealing with, and they're going to kill you. So you're going to kill you. So I want to walk you through the strategy. So first, for me, you got God in that. You got great men and women. You got the room, and you got you, and you need to leverage all 4 of them. That's my strategy. I've leveraged all 4, right? I see people all the time who do their thing and they like, bro, you know, I ain't into that guy stuff. I'm like, bro, you don't need to be in the guy stuff, but it's for any equation. You can't take one out. Okay, so I'm going to show why all for real. I'm going to show we all. So I was blessed why all. I was born in the 70s. I was blessed, bro. Like I wasn't there for King and the 10th and Garvey, but my people talk like my grandma talked about Martin Luther King. Like he was a god. My mom and dad will still tell you where they were when he got shot and killed. I grew up when Martin Luther King was a thing, when our people was a thing. Hip-hop artists weren't no disrespect, but hip-hop artists wasn't the people. Dope dealers wasn't the people we looked up to. Pimps wasn't the people we looked up to. I remember a time when Black history it was the real deal Holyfield. And you had to put respect when you said Martin Luther King. My grandma had Jesus and Dr. Martin Luther King on the wall. I'm just being real. Jesus wasn't real high, and dealing with King wasn't down there. I said, no, that ain't no man. When I heard that speech, I was like, yo, there's some God in that. There's some spirit in that. You hear all them people, you got to understand. This was a time when my grandmother, when you would say white people, my grandma would talk slow, or she would quiet, or she would kind of be timid. This is a time when my people, when you would say, sir, they like, whoa. Martin was like, he had them like, ah. He had people who were scared, people who just saw Emmett Till get shot and killed, like people who were timid. He had people like, let's go. Yep. We can do it like free at last. Free at last, I said, that ain't no man. That ain't flesh, that's something else in him. That's something else that's speaking through him, that he got people from all over the world responding. That's difference. I knew from that day forward, ain't no way, Eric, you're going to be able to move the crowd without having God. I'll take the light in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I was like, bingo, got it. Got it. He said nothing about man. He said that about being open to the doors for you. First thing it said was take the light in the Lord. May he give you the desires of your heart and make all your plans succeed. I've seen humans do plans. It didn't work. I was like, oh, it's look like if God doing your plans, they're going to succeed. I'm just being real with why all. Like I am my father's child. I come from where my people come from. But when I was about 8 years old, I fell in love with God. When I was about 16 years old and was homeless. I went in like you hear people talk about lifting weights. You hear people talking about money. You hear people talk about playing football, basketball. I've been on God like that since I was 16 years old. 3 o'clock in the morning, boy, I ain't been playing with God. You look at a guy who work out and they got, like Jeremy said, they got like, if you looked at like, you can't see it because it's spiritual, but I got I got some traps humans don't normally get. I've been doing this thing since I was 16 years old. God all day. God all night. I ain't been playing with this thing. I ain't been playing with it so much, and I ain't perfect. But I'm telling you, I only been sexually active with Dee Dee. I ain't even slept with another person because I didn't want it to mess up. I ain't never drank. I ain't never smoked. I ain't want nothing to mess this up. And I'm as human as you are. Believe that, brothers. Don't get it twisted. I got the same desires you got. But when I looked at X, what made me love Malcolm was when Malcolm got true to the game. Malcolm didn't play with the game. Nobody had no dirt on Malcolm. When Malcolm converted, he converted. And I made up in my mind when I got started in this journey, I'm going God all the way. Because I can't trust myself. And I don't want to build something up great and have it torn down. When I build this up, I want the foundation to be strong, because if I got to rely on me, it's coming down, because I know who my father is and my grandfather. I know. So I'm building heavy. Many of you are building up, but you're not building down. You don't have a strong foundation. You ain't strong enough for the success that you're about to get. You're not strong enough for all the power and influence you're about to get. I started this thing. My formula was God. We go in God first. Nothing else. We going to build. We go. We ain't got. I ain't got to dribble. I ain't got to play. We just go every day. We just go 3 o'clock in the morning. And while the world may not see the significance of the 3, they going to feel the significance of the 3. What's your foundation? What you building on? I'm not telling you God. But whatever it is, it better be strong. Because you're going to be successful. You're going to have some, you know what killed me about cats? Cats. I can't believe. I'm like, bruh, kill it. You had opportunities. You didn't steward them. Don't act like God ain't never gave you no opportunity. You've been given opportunities. You blew them. Don't make this about her. Don't make this about him. Don't make this about racism. Don't make this about your daddy and your mom. You've been given opportunities. You weren't strong enough. You weren't ready for them. You blew it. Anything you could think of, if you could actually think of it, it means you can do it, right? Does that make sense? So if it pops up in your brain, it means that you have the ability to do it. Why? Because the brain would never think of something that it could not do. So I had this young man come to me the other day. He was kind of discouraged a little bit. You know, I've been mentoring him. He comes by my office and we spend time together. You know, I could tell he was discouraged. I said, what's wrong? He said, man, my dreams are too big. E.T., you think my dreams are too big, E? I said, why you say that? And I could tell he was talking to a parent, right? Or he was talking to a mentor, right? Whoever he was talking to, you know, I understood what they were trying to say. But I said to him, absolutely. There is no dream that's too big. There is nothing that you could think of in your head that you can't do. I said, but here's the problem though, right? They shouldn't have told you that, right? How many of you guys believe in this rule that if you dream it, that if you think of it in your mind, that you actually have the ability someday to make whatever you see in your mind become a reality? Let me see your hands. Good. I love it. I don't care what it is. You want to play basketball? I don't care. You want to go to the moon? Like, I don't care what it is. Your dreams are never too. My dreams are never too big because they're my dreams and I can do it. Come on. I can do it. I can be it. I can have it. Come on. I can do it. I can be it. I can have it. No dreams too big for me. Come on. No dreams too big for me. No dreams too big for me. Again, no dreams too big for me. It is too big for me. Come on. No dream is too big for you. All right, but here's what you got to do. So I told him, I said, do me a favor, keep dreaming. As a matter of fact, I'm asking you to write for a reason. So you wrote it in your phone. But when you get home, I want you to be a huge favor. I want you to go write it, right? I want you to write it. If you have a wall at home, like a whiteboard at home, if you don't go buy one, you got a sheet of paper, right? Put the paper up on the wall. I want you to write it. Why? Because when you write it down and your eyes see it, you can do it. Listen to me. I believe this with all my heart. I literally flew from Detroit to Kansas today. I flew, guys. Watch this. 200 years ago, people said only birds could what? Come on. I'm just being real. 200 years ago, they said only birds could fly. No, a human wasn't meant to fly. Now, not only we're flying, we're watching TV in first class. Making meals, right? In some places you can lay down. I went to Dubai a few months ago and the seat that I sat in was like a living room. A big old 30-something inch TV, they're bringing people steak and duck and all wine and all kinds of sweets and snacks, everything. You could use your cell phone, imagine that. They said we couldn't fly. Now we texting while we flying. So no dream is too big? Come on, no dream is too big? Come on, no dream is too big? I can do it. I can have it. Come on, I can do it. I can have it. I can be it. There's only one person that's going to stop you, and that's you. I need you to understand that. There's only one person that's going to stop you. All right, so what I said to the young man was, your dreams are not too big. You got to make different decisions. Does that make sense? So I want to show you how something real quick. Can I see the book? I want to show you some, I know you guys at some point you're going to get the book. All right, at some point you're going to get the book. All right, do you owe you book right at some point? You're going to get it. All right, CJ and I said 2 years ago, please write this down. This is not even a part of my message, but write this down. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Write that down. Never let a good crisis go to waste you. And so when COVID struck, instead of crying, and get upset, I made a decision, right? I made a decision. I made a what? Listen to me very closely. In order to make your dreams and goals become a reality, you have to make different decisions. See, the only reason your dreams aren't happening now is two reasons. It's too early, right? It's too early. What do I mean when I say it's too early? Okay, so if you're in high school, you can't play in the NBA, right? It's too early. It's not time yet. And a lot of you struggle with that. A lot of young people, you struggle because you've got these big dreams and these big goals and you want them to happen right now. You want them to happen today, right? Look, you've got the rest of your life to live. So what would happen if all your dreams became a reality when you was 15? You got 65 more years to live. 70 more years to live. 80 more years to live. My grandma's just passed. They both were in their 90s. So if you're 15 years old, you got 80 years left. Are you hearing me? You can't make all your dreams become a reality in one day or 1 year, right? So say this with me. It takes 21 years to be 21 years old. You can't make yourself 21 and 15. I don't care how much, much milk you drink, right? How much exercise you do, it doesn't matter. It takes 21 years to be 21 years old. To be 21 years old, and there's nothing I can do to speed up the process. So the number one thing I think that kids do wrong is not that you have these big dreams and these big goals, is that you have these big dreams and big goals and you're rushing it. Take your time, take your time. All right, it's going to happen. All right, there's some things that are happening to me for me right now that I'm grateful it didn't happen 30 years ago. All right, so number one, the D is for good. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to be a great decision maker. And if you are a great decision maker, all your dreams are going to become a reality. All right, so we decided that we were going to write a book during COVID. Why? Because one of the worst things that ever happened to me happened during COVID, but one of the things that you have to learn how to do is not focus on the negative all the time. You've got to learn to see the good in everything that could be negative. Say it with me. I will learn to see the good in every lesson. Come on. I will learn to see the good in every lesson. For in every lesson, there's a blessing. Come on, for every lesson, there's a blessing. So I got hit hard with COVID hit. I had never heard of the term social distancing. I was like, what's that? He was like, it's about to tear up your career. That's what it is. I said, what does it mean exactly? It said that you will never be able to, and we didn't know for how long, speak in crowd. This is how I make my money. Alabama football, Kansas. I work Kansas, Kansas State. I work with Bay. I work with Michigan, Michigan State. Like I go in the locker room. I go to colleges and talk to kids, and for over 18 months, I couldn't go on the road and speak. So I made a decision. I made a what? I made a decision to see the blessing in the lesson. Say there's a blessing in the lesson. Come on. There's a blessing in the lesson. And so it hit me. You can't go speak, you can't go on the road, but now you'll be at home all day. What can you do while you're at home all day? I can write a book. I never had time before. I was always on the road, thank you. I was always on the road, right? And so writing a book is better than speaking. Why? Because in order to make money speaking, you have to be present. When you write a book, it's passive income while you're asleep and people buying it, you're making money. So I actually could make more money with a book that I can't speak. And sometimes tragedies strike not to hurt you, but to elevate you in a way. If the tragedy never happened, you would never be elevated. There is a blessing in every lesson. Come on, there's a blessing in every lesson. So number one, you got to become a good decision maker to make your dreams become a reality. So I made a decision. I was going to wake up every single day and I was going right. I was going to wake up every single day. Do me a favor in your phone right now. I want you to write down good decisions, bad decisions, all right? Good decisions, bad decisions. I want you to write that down, good decisions. Say it with me, good decisions, bad decisions. So let me just say this too, I want to make this clear, right? I remember, years ago, we used to say when we was kids, somebody would say, well, that person is middle-aged, that person is old, right? You can't say that anymore. Why? Because of the decisions that a lot of us are making now, there are kids who are 17 and 18 who are old. Why? Because they're not going to make it to 19. So they're seniors. Like that's it. They're 19, 20. They're making some bad decisions. They're not going to make it to 21. So they're actually a senior citizen at 15 because they don't have 3 or 4 years left to go. Does that make sense? Because they made what kind of decisions? Bad decisions. So here's what I want you to do for me. I want you to ask yourself every single day, are the decisions I'm making good? Because if you're a good decision maker, it means you are going to get. You are guaranteed to make your dreams become a reality. I told you my goal was to write a book and make what List Your Time's best sales list. And why? Because of the decisions we made. There was a whole lot of decisions that it took to get here. And so in order for you to make your dreams and goals become a reality, you got to be a great decision maker. Does that make sense? And listen to me, every outcome you get, I had an uncle who died of cirrhosis of the liver. It didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen by accident. He died maybe 50, 60, it wasn't by accident. How do you die of cirrhosis of the liver? For the most part, what happens? Somebody said drinking what? You're not drinking water. You're not drinking water. Like you, listen to me very closely. You don't drink a gallon of water a day and then 15, 20 years later, the doctor call you and say you got cirrhosis of the liver. What happened? You're drinking too much water? You drank the water and it just messed up your liver. As a matter of fact, if you drink a gallon of water a day, your organs are going to be cleansed and your blood is going to be pure. Does it make sense? But when you drink alcohol, I'm not telling you to drink or not to drink. I'm saying it's a decision and certain outcomes come with decisions. So I'm not telling you don't drink, I'm not telling you don't smoke. You grow, you do whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, with every decision comes a result. With every decision there comes an outcome. You don't have to eat vegetables if you don't want to, but I promise you, your body's going to at some point tell you you're not eating vegetables. Does that make sense? So number one, we're going to become what kind of decision makers? Good decision makers. And then hopefully we're going to get to a time in our lives where we become what kind of decision makers? Great decision makers. And then one day I'm hoping that we elite. So this book, almost 300 pages, the New York Times bestseller, the LA Times bestseller. That didn't happen because I'm a genius. It happened because of some decisions I made. Is that clear? Look, if we don't do anything else, if you walk out of this room today, you owe you to make good decisions. Because when you make bad decisions, you destroy you. You're killing you. You're destroying you. And I told you, you live in a country that if you make good decisions, you reap the benefits of it.
They begin to wonder if they can trust you to follow through on your commitments or if you'll say one thing and do another. Think about it this way. If you consistently make promises that you don't keep, or if you're caught in lies or half-truths, how can anyone trust you? How can they respect you when they don't know if they can believe a word that comes out of your mouth? Integrity is like the glue that holds your relationships together. Without it, everything falls apart. So, if you want to earn the respect of those around you, you need to make integrity a non-negotiable part of your character. You need to be honest even when it's difficult. You need to follow through on your commitments even when it's inconvenient. And you need to be consistent in your actions even when no one is watching. But here's the thing, integrity isn't something you can fake. It's not a mask you can put on when it's convenient and take off when it's not. It's a way of life, a commitment to being the best version of yourself, even when it's hard. And when you live with integrity, people notice they see you as someone they can trust, someone they can count on, and someone they can respect. The second habit that can make people disrespect you is a lack of self-respect. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, I thought this was about how to earn the respect of others, not about respecting myself. But here's the thing, the way you treat yourself is a reflection of how you expect others to treat you. Think about it this way. If you constantly put yourself down, if you engage in negative self-talk or allow others to walk all over you, what message are you sending to the world? You're telling people that you don't value yourself, that you don't believe you're worthy of respect. And if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect anyone else to respect you? Self-respect is about setting boundaries, standing up for yourself, and treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would extend to a dear friend. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. When you have self-respect, you carry yourself differently. You walk with your head held high, confident in who you are and what you bring to the table. You speak up when something doesn't feel right, and you're not afraid to say no when something doesn't align with your values or goals. And here's the beautiful thing, when you respect yourself, others can't help but respect you too. They see the way you treat yourself, and they instinctively know that you're not someone to be trifled with. They understand that you have standards and expectations for how you want to be treated, and they rise to meet those expectations. So if you want to earn the respect of others, start by respecting yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness, compassion, and dignity that you would extend to someone you deeply admire. Set boundaries, stand up for yourself, and refuse to settle for anything less than you deserve. When you do, you'll find that respect becomes a natural byproduct of the way you live your life. The third habit that can make people disrespect you is a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand their perspective and feelings, even if they differ from your own. When you lack empathy, you come across as cold, disconnected, and uncaring. You give the impression that you're only interested in your own needs and desires and that you don't care about the impact your actions have on others. Think about a time when you've interacted with someone who lacked empathy. Maybe it was a boss who consistently dismissed your concerns, or a friend who always managed to make the conversation about themselves. How did that make you feel? Chances are you felt unheard, unvalued, and disrespected. Now, Imagine being on the other side of that interaction. Imagine being the person who lacks empathy, who consistently puts their own needs above others, who fails to consider how their words and actions might be impacting those around them. How do you think that comes across to others? Do you think it inspires respect and admiration, or does it breed resentment and disdain? Empathy is the key to building strong, respectful relationships. When you take the time to understand others, to listen to their perspectives and concerns, you show them that you value them as human beings. You demonstrate that you're not just interested in what they can do for you, but that you genuinely care about their well-being and happiness. And here's the thing, empathy isn't just about being nice or agreeable. It's about having the courage to have difficult conversations, to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular. It's about being willing to put yourself in someone else's shoes, even when their experiences and perspectives are vastly different from your own. When you cultivate empathy, you become a better leader, a better friend, and a better human being. You inspire others to be their best selves, and you create a culture of respect and understanding that permeates every aspect of your life. So, if you want to earn the respect of those around you, start by practicing empathy. Take the time to listen, to understand, and to consider the perspectives of others. Show them that you value them as human beings and that you're willing to put in the work to build strong, respectful relationships. When you do, you'll find that respect becomes a natural byproduct of the way you interact with the world. The fourth and final habit that can make people disrespect you is a lack of self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to understand your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and how they impact those around you. When you lack self-awareness, you're like a bull in a china shop, crashing through life without any regard for the damage you might be causing. Think about it this way. Have you ever been in a meeting where someone consistently interrupted others or talked over them? Or have you ever had a friend who always managed to make everything about themselves, no matter what the conversation was about? Chances are those people lack self-awareness. They were so caught up in their own thoughts and desires that they failed to consider how their actions were impacting those around them. Now, imagine being that person. Imagine going through life without any awareness of how your words and actions are being perceived by others. Imagine consistently offending or alienating people without even realizing it. How do you think that would impact your relationships and your ability to earn respect? Self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth and development. It's the key to understanding your own strengths and weaknesses and to making the changes necessary to become the best version of yourself. When you're self-aware, you're able to see yourself objectively, to understand how your actions and behaviors are impacting those around you, and to make adjustments as needed. And here's the thing, self-awareness isn't something that comes naturally to most people. It's a skill that needs to be developed and cultivated over time. It requires a willingness to be honest with yourself, to seek out feedback from others, and to make changes when necessary. But when you do the work to become more self-aware, the payoff is immense. You become a better communicator, a better leader, and a better friend. You're able to build stronger, more respectful relationships and to create a life that aligns with your deepest values and goals. So, if you want to earn the respect of those around you, start by cultivating self-awareness. Take the time to understand your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and how they impact those around you. Seek out feedback from others and be willing to make changes when necessary. When you do, you'll find that respect becomes a natural byproduct of the way you show up in the world. Now, I know that cultivating these habits of integrity, self-respect, empathy, and self-awareness can be a daunting task. It requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to take an honest look at yourself, and to make changes when necessary. But here's the thing, the rewards are so worth it. When you live with integrity, when you respect yourself and others, when you cultivate empathy and self-awareness, you become a beacon of light in a world that can often feel dark and chaotic. You inspire others to be their best selves, and you create a ripple effect of positivity and respect that touches everyone around you. And here's the beautiful thing, respect isn't something that's finite or scarce. It's not something that you have to hoard or guard jealously. In fact, the more respect you give to others, the more respect you'll receive in return. It's a virtuous cycle that feeds on itself, creating a culture of kindness, compassion, and understanding. So my challenge to you today is this: take a hard look at yourself and your habits. Ask yourself if you're living with integrity, if you're respecting yourself and others, if you're cultivating empathy and self-awareness. And if you find that you're falling short in any of these areas, don't beat yourself up. Remember, personal growth is a journey, not a destination. Instead, commit to making small changes every day. Start by being honest with yourself and others, even when it's hard. Practice treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would extend to a dear friend. Take the time to listen to others to understand their perspectives and concerns. And seek out feedback from trusted friends and mentors so that you can continue to grow and develop as a person. When you do these things, when you make these habits a non-negotiable part of your life, you'll find that respect becomes a natural byproduct of the way you show up in the world. You'll inspire others to be their best selves, and you'll create a culture of kindness, compassion, and understanding that touches everyone around you. So my friends, let's make a commitment today to live with integrity, to respect ourselves and others, to cultivate empathy and self-awareness, and to create a world where respect is the norm, not the exception. Let's be the change we wish to see in the world, and let's do it together. Thank you for listening, and remember, the power to earn respect lies within you. Use it wisely and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but wait, I've been trying to earn respect for years and it hasn't worked. What makes you so sure that these habits will make a difference? And to that, I say, fair point. Earning respect isn't always easy, and it's not something that happens overnight. But here's the thing: when you consistently practice these habits of integrity, self-respect, empathy, and self-awareness, you start to see a shift in the way people treat you. It might start small, with a colleague who starts to listen more attentively when you speak, or a friend who goes out of their way to show you kindness and support. But over time, these small changes start to add up. You start to notice that people are more willing to collaborate with you, to seek out your opinions and insights, and to treat you with the respect and dignity that you deserve. And here's the really cool part: when you start to earn respect from others, it has a ripple effect on every aspect of your life. You start to feel more confident and self-assured, more willing to take risks and pursue your dreams. You start to attract people who share your values and your commitment to personal growth, and you start to build a community of like-minded individuals who support and encourage you every step of the way. But of course, earning respect isn't just about what you get from others. It's also about what you give to the world. When you live with integrity, when you treat yourself and others with respect, when you cultivate empathy and self-awareness, you become a force for good in the world. You start to make a positive impact on the lives of those around you, and you start to create a legacy that will endure long after you're gone. Think about some of the most respected people in history, people like Martin Luther King Jr., Mahatma Gandhi, and Mother Teresa. These individuals weren't perfect, but they lived their lives with a deep commitment to integrity, compassion, and service to others. They inspired millions of people around the world to be their best selves, and they left a lasting impact on the world that continues to be felt to this day. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be a world-renowned leader or a saint to earn respect, but I am saying that when you live your life with purpose and intention, when you make these habits of respect a non-negotiable part of who you are, you start to create a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. So how do you start to cultivate these habits in your own life? Well, the first step is to get clear on your values and your priorities. What's most important to you? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? Once you have a sense of your values and priorities, the next step is to start aligning your actions with them. This means being honest with yourself and others, even when it's uncomfortable. It means treating yourself with kindness and compassion, even when you're feeling down or discouraged. It means taking the time to listen to others, to understand their perspectives and concerns, even when you disagree with them. And it means being willing to seek out feedback and make changes when necessary, even when it's hard. Of course, cultivating these habits of respect isn't always easy. There will be times when you fall short, when you make mistakes or let someone down. But the key is to remember that personal growth is a journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. So when you do stumble or fall short, don't beat yourself up. Instead, take a moment to reflect on what happened, to learn from your mistakes, and to recommit to your values and priorities. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are countless others out there who are working to cultivate these same habits of respect, who are striving to be their best selves and make a positive impact on the world. One of the best ways to stay motivated and accountable on this journey is to surround yourself with people who share your values and your commitment to personal growth. This might mean joining a community of like-minded individuals, whether it's a professional network, a volunteer organization, or a personal development group. It might mean seeking out mentors or coaches who can offer guidance and support along the way. Or it might simply mean being intentional about the people you spend your time with and choosing to surround yourself with those who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self. Another key to cultivating these habits of respect is to practice gratitude and appreciation. When you take the time to acknowledge and appreciate the good things in your life, whether it's a supportive friend, a meaningful career, or a beautiful sunset, you start to shift your focus away from what's lacking and towards what's abundant. You start to cultivate a sense of contentment and joy that radiates outward, touching everyone around you. And when you make gratitude and appreciation a regular practice, you start to notice a shift in the way you show up in the world. You become more patient, more compassionate, more willing to give others the benefit of the doubt. You start to see the best in people, even when they're struggling or making mistakes. And you start to create a culture of respect and appreciation that lifts everyone up. Of course, cultivating these habits of respect isn't just about what happens in your personal life. It's also about how you show up in your professional life, in your community, and in the world at large. It's about using your platform and your influence to create positive change, to advocate for justice and equality, and to be a voice for those who may not have one. This might mean speaking up when you see something that isn't right, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. It might mean using your skills and resources to make a difference in your community, whether it's volunteering at a local nonprofit or mentoring a young person who needs guidance and support. Or it might mean using your voice and your influence to advocate for causes that matter to you, whether it's environmental sustainability, social justice, or any other issue that you feel called to address. When you make these habits of respect a core part of who you are, when you use your platform and your influence to create positive change in the world, you start to create a legacy that will endure long after you're gone. You start to inspire others to be their best selves, to stand up for what's right, and to create a world that's more just, more compassionate, and more respectful for all. So my friends, let's make a commitment today to cultivate these habits of respect in our own lives and to use our influence and our platform to create positive change in the world. Let's be the leaders and the change makers that our world so desperately needs, and let's do it with integrity, compassion, and a deep respect for ourselves and others. And remember, this journey of personal growth and respect isn't always easy. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way. But when you stay committed to your values and your priorities, when you surround yourself with people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self, and when you make gratitude and appreciation a regular practice, you start to create a life that's rich with meaning, purpose, and respect. So let's get out there and start living our lives with intention and purpose. Let's be the change we wish to see in the world, and let's do it together. Because when we all commit to cultivating these habits of respect, when we all use our influence and our platform to create positive change, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Thank you for listening, and remember, the power to earn respect and create a better world lies within each and every one of us. Let's use it wisely, and let's start today. Your future isn't determined by luck or chance. It's shaped by the habits you build today. You know, life is a funny thing. We're all out here chasing success, chasing happiness, trying to figure out how to live our best lives. But what I've learned over the years is this success isn't about what you achieve. It's not about what you have. It's about who you are. The truth is, your habits, what you do when nobody's watching, those are the things that will define your destiny. See, greatness doesn't just show up at your door one day. You've got to build it brick by brick, day by day. And those bricks, they're your habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. So tonight, we're not talking about dreams. We're talking about the choices you make every single day, the discipline it takes, and the commitment to show up, even when it's hard. Because if you can master that, oh, let me tell you, there's nothing that can stop you. Habit one, be proactive. Being proactive is about mindset, but it's also about consistent, deliberate action. It's a shift in thinking where you stop seeing yourself as a passenger in life and start seeing yourself as the driver. No more sitting back and hoping things work out. You take responsibility for your outcomes because you know that your decisions, your actions, and even your attitude are shaping your reality every single day. Imagine this life throws curveballs. It's guaranteed. Unexpected challenges, setbacks, and problems are inevitable. But the proactive person doesn't sit there and let these things derail them. Instead, they anticipate obstacles. They plan ahead. They prepare themselves mentally and emotionally, so when life throws a challenge, they're ready to face it head on. It's about looking at the opportunities in every situation, even when things seem tough. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? The proactive person asks, what can I learn from this? They don't complain about the problem, they work on the solution. They focus on what can be done, and they do it no excuses, no waiting for someone else to take the first step. Proactive people also understand that their decisions today echo into their future. They think long term. They don't just react impulsively to what feels good in the moment. They consider how their actions today will impact their goals tomorrow. Every action, no matter how small, is aligned with their bigger purpose. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't plant them today and expect a full-grown tree tomorrow. You nurture it, water it, and protect it from the elements. Over time, it grows and bears fruit. Being proactive is that same long-term commitment, knowing that the actions you take now, no matter how small, will pay off in ways you may not even see yet. It's about creating momentum in your life. When you're proactive, you start to build positive habits that compound over time. Little by little, your consistent efforts stack up and push you forward. Proactive people are intentional with their time and energy. They don't wait for motivation, they create it through their discipline and focus. And here's the real beauty of it: being proactive gives you control, not over the world, but over yourself. It's about owning your choices, your responses, and your path forward. The more you practice it, the more resilient you become because you're no longer at the mercy of external forces. You realize that the power to shape your life has always been in your hands. Habit 2, begin with the end. Begin with the end in mind is about vision. It's about knowing where you're going before you even start the journey. Think about it like this. If you were building a house, you wouldn't just start hammering nails into wood and hope for the best. You'd have a blueprint. You'd know exactly what the finished home should look like, how many rooms there are, where the walls and windows go. The same concept applies to your life. When you begin with the end in mind, you're essentially creating a personal vision of what you want your future to look like. It's more than just setting goals. It's about defining your values, your principles, and the kind of person you want to become. It's a conscious choice to think deeply about your long-term destination, whether in your career, relationships, health, or personal growth. Having a clear vision of the end shapes the decisions you make in the present. It guides your steps, helps you prioritize, and aligns your daily actions with your ultimate purpose. Without this clear picture, you risk drifting through life, reacting to whatever comes your way instead of taking deliberate steps toward your desired outcomes. Think about it like a compass. Your vision is your true north, giving you direction no matter what challenges you face or how lost you might feel. When distractions or setbacks come along, and they always will, having that end goal in mind keeps you anchored. It allows you to make decisions today that are in alignment with the future you want to create. But here's the thing, beginning with the end in mind also requires you to step outside of the moment and think beyond immediate gratification. It's about looking at the bigger picture. What do you truly want out of life? Not just right now, but in the long run? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? These are the questions that shape your path. It's not just about achieving success in terms of wealth, status, or accolades, although those may be part of it. It's also about fulfilling your deeper purpose, your calling. What do you want your life to stand for? When you define that, everything else becomes clearer. And it's important to understand that beginning with the end in mind isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing practice of reflection and realignment. As you grow and evolve, your vision may shift, and that's okay. The key is to always keep checking in with yourself, making sure your actions are in harmony with your desired outcomes. This habit gives you clarity and focus. It helps you avoid getting lost in the noise of day-to-day life. When you know where you're headed, the journey becomes more purposeful, and every step, no matter how small, takes you closer to that ultimate vision you've crafted for yourself. Habit 3, put first things first. Put first things first is about prioritization. It's where the rubber meets the road. You set your vision. You know what the end looks like. But now you've got to organize your life in a way that reflects those priorities. This habit is about discipline and execution, doing the things that matter most, even when they're hard or less urgent. At its core, put first things first is about focusing on what's truly important rather than getting caught up in the noise of the urgent. It's easy to spend your time on tasks that seem pressing, emails, meetings, or daily distractions, but they might not actually move you closer to your goals. This habit challenges you to step back and ask, is this action helping me move toward the life I've envisioned? Think of your time like a bucket. You have big rocks representing your most important priorities, your health, relationships, career goals, personal development. Then you've got smaller pebbles, which are less important tasks that still need to be done. And finally, you've got sand, the small, trivial things that fill up your day, like checking social media or mindlessly scrolling through emails. If you fill your bucket with sand first, there's no room for the big rocks. But if you start by placing the big rocks, everything else can fit around them. Putting first things first is about identifying those big rocks in your life and making sure they get your attention and effort. It means carving out time for the things that align with your vision and values, even when other distractions demand your immediate attention. It's about saying no to things that aren't aligned with your priorities. That's where the real challenge lies. Most people are pulled in 1,000 different directions, trying to juggle too many things at once. But when you're clear on what matters most, you can be more selective with your time. You learn to say no to the things that don't serve your larger goals so you can say yes to what truly counts. And it's not just about managing your time, but also your energy. You can't do everything at once, and you shouldn't try. Prioritization means focusing on a few key things that will make the biggest impact. It's about being intentional with your efforts, directing them toward what will produce real results rather than just spinning your wheels on tasks that feel urgent but don't contribute to your long-term success. Put first things first is understanding the difference between what's urgent and what's important. Urgency often demands immediate action, but it doesn't always align with importance. Important tasks are those that directly impact your goals, but they don't always come with a flashing red light. It's easy to push them aside because they don't seem as pressing in the moment. For example, building a strong relationship with your family, investing time in your health, or developing a skill, these are important but not necessarily urgent. They don't demand your attention in the same way an overflowing inbox or an approaching deadline does. But over time, if you neglect these important areas, you'll find yourself in crisis mode, trying to make up for lost time. Putting first things first is about having the discipline to do what matters, even when other things seem more pressing. It requires a high level of self-awareness and constant evaluation of how you're spending your time. You have to be intentional about protecting your time and energy for the things that align with your vision. By focusing on the most important task each day, you build momentum and make meaningful progress towards your long-term goals. This habit demands commitment and consistency, not just in moments of calm, but especially when life gets hectic. It's about making tough choices and sticking to your priorities when the world around you pulls in different directions. Habit 4, think win-win. Think win-win is all about shifting your mindset when it comes to interactions with others. It's about seeking mutual benefit in all relationships, both personal and professional, rather than seeing life as a zero-sum game where one person's gain is another's loss. This mindset is rooted in the belief that there's enough success, opportunity, and abundance for everyone, and that the best outcomes are those where all parties feel they've benefited. When you embrace the think win-win habit, you stop approaching situations with a competitive or combative mindset. Instead, you begin to see others not as rivals, but as collaborators. It's about fostering relationships where everyone feels valued, respected, and heard. In business, friendships, or family relationships, this mentality encourages cooperation over competition and compromise over conflict. To think win-win requires a deep sense of empathy and understanding. You're not just focused on what you want, but also on what the other person wants. It's a balancing act of assertiveness and empathy, where you openly communicate your needs while also listening to and considering the needs of others. This mutual respect is the foundation of any win outcome. It's easy to fall into the trap of a win-lose mentality, where one person seeks to win at the expense of the other. But in the long run, this approach is often destructive, breeding resentment and damaging relationships. In contrast, win-win thinking builds trust, loyalty, and cooperation. It leads to solutions that strengthen relationships rather than weaken them. Win-win isn't about being soft or giving in, though. It doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs or settling for less just to make someone else happy. It's about finding solutions that are fair and mutually beneficial. You maintain your own integrity and objectives while ensuring the other party feels the same. This balance creates sustainable, healthy outcomes where both sides can thrive. One of the key elements of win-win thinking is the abundance mentality. People with an abundance mentality believe that there's enough to go around, that success and opportunity aren't limited. In contrast, a scarcity mentality operates from the belief that if someone else wins, you lose. It's the fear that opportunities are finite, which leads to competition and defensiveness. With an abundance mindset, however, you realize that collaboration often creates more value for everyone involved. By working together and helping others succeed, you don't diminish your own chances for success, you enhance them. Win-win outcomes foster a sense of shared accomplishment, where success is multiplied, not divided. Another component of thinking win-win is the idea of seeking third alternatives. In many cases, people think there are only two options, my way or your way, but win-win thinking encourages a broader view. Instead of being locked into a mindset of compromise where both sides give up something, you look for a third solution that meets the needs of both parties, sometimes even better than the original options. This type of thinking requires creativity and open-mindedness. You have to be willing to move beyond your initial position, explore new possibilities, and think outside the box. By doing so, you often discover solutions that satisfy everyone involved, allowing both parties to walk away feeling like winners. Thinking win-win also requires a certain level of maturity. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking only of yourself, especially when emotions are high or the stakes feel significant. But win-win thinking requires emotional intelligence, being able to step back, manage your own feelings, and approach situations with a calm, collaborative mindset. It's also about being confident in your own worth. People who struggle with a win-win mindset often operate from a place of insecurity, feeling that they must win to prove themselves or protect their position. But true win-win thinking comes from a place of self-assurance. You're secure enough in your own value that you don't need to diminish someone else's worth to feel successful. Think win-win isn't just about solving problems. It's about creating an atmosphere of trust and cooperation in every interaction. When people know that you're looking out for their interests as well as your own, they're more likely to do the same for you. This creates a positive, productive cycle where both parties feel safe to share openly, negotiate fairly, and collaborate freely. This habit applies in all areas of life. In business, it leads to better partnerships, stronger teams, and long-lasting client relationships. In personal relationships, it fosters deeper connections, healthier communication, and mutual respect. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood is a principle that centers on improving how we communicate with others by prioritizing empathy and active listening. It emphasizes the importance of truly understanding another person's perspective before expressing your own thoughts or solutions. Active listening involves more than just hearing the words someone is saying. It requires paying attention to their emotions, body language, and underlying concerns. It's about fully immersing yourself in their viewpoint and demonstrating genuine interest and respect for their experience. This approach not only helps you grasp the complete picture of what they are communicating, but also shows that you value their perspective. This habit requires patience and self-restraint. Instead of immediately jumping in with your own responses or solutions, you take the time to listen deeply. This thoughtful approach helps build a foundation of trust and mutual respect as the other person feels heard and understood. It shifts the focus from merely waiting for your turn to speak to actively engaging with their point of view. When you have made an effort to understand the other person, you create a more receptive environment for your own views. People are more likely to listen to and consider your perspective if they feel you've genuinely listened to theirs first. This leads to more effective communication and helps prevent misunderstandings and conflicts. The habit also involves validating the other person's feelings and concerns. It's not about agreeing with everything they say, but acknowledging that their perspective is important and worth considering. By doing so, you foster a collaborative atmosphere where both parties can work together to find common ground or solutions. In practical terms, this habit can transform how conflicts are resolved and how relationships are built. It encourages open dialogue and facilitates a deeper connection between individuals. It's a powerful tool for creating a positive communication environment where mutual understanding and respect are at the forefront. Habit 6, synergize. Synergize is about harnessing the power of collaboration and teamwork to achieve outcomes that are greater than the sum of individual efforts. It's the principle of working together to create solutions that none of the parties involved could have reached alone. This habit emphasizes the value of combining diverse perspectives and strengths to produce superior results. At its core, synergy is about leveraging the unique skills, talents, and viewpoints of each team member. It recognizes that each person brings something different to the table, and by integrating these diverse inputs, you can create innovative solutions and achieve goals more effectively. This is different from simply working in a group. It's about creating a cohesive, collaborative effort where the interaction of different elements generates a result that exceeds what each individual could accomplish separately. Synergy thrives on trust and open communication. For true synergy to occur, team members need to be willing to share their ideas, listen to others, and build on each other's strengths. It involves creating an environment where everyone feels valued and where their contributions are respected. This collaborative atmosphere encourages creativity and problem solving, as team members feel free to express their ideas and challenge each other constructively. This habit also requires a shift from traditional problem-solving approaches. Instead of working in isolation or competing against each other, synergizing involves coming together to explore new possibilities. It means approaching challenges with an open mind and being willing to compromise or adapt in order to find the best solution. A key aspect of synergy is understanding and appreciating differences. In a synergistic team, diversity is seen as an asset rather than a hurdle. Different perspectives and experiences are viewed as opportunities for growth and innovation. By embracing these differences and working through them, teams can develop more robust and creative solutions. Effective synergy also involves clear roles and responsibilities. For collaboration to be productive, each team member needs to understand their role and how it fits into the larger effort. This clarity helps prevent overlap and ensures that everyone is contributing in a way that supports the collective goal. It also involves coordinating efforts and integrating the various components of the project or problem to achieve a seamless and efficient outcome. Synergizing is not just about achieving immediate goals, but also about building relationships and fostering a positive team dynamic. It creates a sense of unity and shared purpose, where team members are motivated to work together and support each other. This collaborative spirit not only enhances productivity, but also improves morale and satisfaction within the team. In practice, synergy can lead to breakthrough innovations and successful outcomes that might not have been possible through individual efforts alone. It involves creating a collaborative culture where the collective intelligence and effort of the group lead to exceptional results. By embracing synergy, teams and organizations can achieve greater success and drive positive change through effective collaboration and integration. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw is about the continual process of self-improvement and renewal. It emphasizes the importance of regularly investing in yourself to maintain and enhance your effectiveness across all areas of life: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Just like a saw needs to be sharpened regularly to cut efficiently, your personal growth and well-being require ongoing attention and care. This habit involves taking proactive steps to renew and refresh yourself, ensuring that you can perform at your best. It's about creating a balanced approach to personal development, where you make time for activities that rejuvenate and strengthen each dimension of your life. Physical renewal: this includes taking care of your body through exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest. Regular physical activity not only improves your health, but also boosts your energy levels and enhances your overall productivity. It's about making time for activities that keep you in good shape and prevent burnout. Mental renewal: this involves engaging in activities that stimulate and challenge your mind. It could be through reading, learning new skills, or pursuing intellectual hobbies. Mental renewal helps keep your mind sharp, enhances problem-solving abilities, and fosters creativity. It's about dedicating time to personal growth and intellectual development. Emotional renewal: emotional well-being is about managing stress, building resilience, and maintaining a positive outlook. This can be achieved through practices like mindfulness, journaling, or connecting with supportive friends and family. Emotional renewal helps you navigate challenges with a balanced mindset and fosters healthy relationships. Spiritual renewal: this aspect focuses on finding purpose and meaning in life. It could involve spiritual practices, reflection, or engaging in activities that align with your values and beliefs. Beliefs. Spiritual renewal helps provide a sense of direction and fulfillment, contributing to overall well-being. Sharpening the saw requires intentional effort and regular practice. It's about setting aside time for these renewal activities and making them a priority in your life. It's easy to become so focused on achieving your goals that you neglect your own well-being, but without regular renewal, your effectiveness and satisfaction can diminish over time. This habit also involves a commitment to self-care and self-awareness. It's about recognizing when you're feeling depleted or out of balance and taking the necessary steps to address it. By prioritizing your own renewal, you maintain a high level of performance and resilience, enabling you to better handle challenges and seize opportunities. Overall, sharpen the saw is about creating a sustainable approach to personal development. It ensures that you remain effective and energized by continually investing in yourself and maintaining balance across all aspects of your life. In wrapping up our journey through these 7 transformative habits, remember that each one is a step towards a more empowered, purposeful life. We've explored how being proactive sets the stage for taking control of our destiny. We've seen how beginning with the end in mind creates a clear vision of what we want to achieve. We've learned the importance of putting first things first, prioritizing what truly matters. Thinking win-win reminds us to seek mutual benefits in our interactions, fostering relationships built on respect and cooperation. Seeking first to understand, then to be understood, shifts our communication from mere exchange to genuine connection. Synergizing teaches us that collaboration can produce results far greater than individual efforts alone. And finally, sharpening the saw is the commitment to continuous self-improvement, ensuring we remain at our best in all aspects of life. Each of these habits, when woven together, forms a powerful framework for personal and professional growth. They are not just actions, but principles that, when practiced consistently, lead to lasting change and fulfillment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you with this: life is a series of choices and actions, and the path to greatness is paved with discipline and purpose. These 7 habits aren't just a set of steps to follow, they're a way of life. They're about pushing yourself to be better, not just for yourself, but for those around you. So as you move forward, remember this: don't just go through life, grow through it. Embrace these habits with passion. Let them guide you through the challenges and triumphs. And when you hit those tough spots, and you will remember that the strength to overcome lies in your hands. You've got what it takes to rise, to shine, and to make a difference. Now go out there and put these principles into action. Be bold, be relentless, and be unstoppable. Your journey to greatness starts now. Thank you. And may your path be filled with purpose and success.